Here you go. The APEC summit held in Thailand closed in 19th November. So the main focus out of the number of agenda in the APEC summit held in Thailand in 2022 was something related to conflict war between Ukraine and Russia. So in terms of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the summit declaration concluded that the most of members of APEC condemned the war situation in Ukraine, even with few different perspectives and evaluations. So this was almost the same declaration adopted in G20 held in Indonesia on 16th November. So others Bangkok goals that establish a cooperative relationship with other APEC members for the management of natural resources and countermeasures for the world climate change was adopted. So on 18th November, which was the first day of the summit, the adjustment of assertion of the U.S. and Japan and other countries that came into collusion with Russia was gone through. So as often as I see the international meetings, international conferences held with invitation of leaders of countries around the world, I have one question. If what they do in the meeting is no more than just public appeal, like we talk about our opinions about the world things in spite of making great decision to change the world, right? So making adoption decision in the summit is, I think, not really different from the opinions and condemnation provided by normal citizens, So what they do in a gorgeous palace, in a gorgeous reception hall, in a gorgeous hotel, is just asking each other for sympathy about prevailing view of the world incident, world problems, and world trends, So they talk about conclusion that they already know in the meeting. So I think these are really wasteful, perfunctory events that produce nothing. So the meeting that makes people share goals concluded by discussing agenda should be included with participants' declaration of execution to commit the goal that they share. So they should talk about the progression of each country's goals that were adopted in the former summits in terms of how much they achieved a goal. So why do we have to hold a ceremonious summit that leaders just discuss the prevailing view of the world trends and the world problems? It doesn't make sense anyway. So meetings should be originally discussing realistic problems detected through the concrete actions that we can't see through with only the superficial verbal meeting on the table, including different perspectives and different standpoints, right? So from the viewpoint of productivity of global scale meeting on whether adopted decision will influence on the world change. So each country's declaration doesn't have a strong motivation and backing to accomplish something that triggers for changing something in the world, because there is no strict prerequisite of action goals to be imposed to each member of countries in the agenda. So that's why there is no active and productive meeting among countries, but they just declare non-committal prevailing opinions without talking about the concrete measures at the level of whether it can be executable or not. So what they do is just meeting and grading. So does it make sense that a leader of a country just use a huge amount of tax to participate in just meaningless in a conventional meeting that they just talk about something prevailing view of the world problems? So I think what they do is not really different from news reporter.